Good morning, people. This is the Lagoon Radio newspaper review. My name is Samuel Olaleto. Please, you can follow us on Facebook at Lagoon Radio Nigeria and Instagram and Twitter on Lagoonradio.Ng. And we are streaming live on YouTube at LagoonTV. And I'm not here alone. I'm with my producer and I'm with my guest too. Please, can you introduce yourself, please?
Good morning, my name is Osaku Okoyemi.
Good morning, my name is Ajufagbajemuyo Sore.
And I'm Simidele Okay. Good morning.
And I'm with my producer, Timilerin Aoleru.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Newspaper Review.
And yes, straight to the business of today. I'm starting from Nigeria News Direct. At the top of the newspaper, budget proposal. El-Rufai presents 233 billion naira for 2022 to the Assembly. You can see that on page 9. And Osibajo denies call for naira devaluation. You can see that on page 21. Substandard gas cylinders. Standard Organization of Nigeria declares war against manufacturers, importers. You can see that on page 16. And on the bottom of the newspaper, transmission on election results. Senate grants INEC sole power to determine mode. You can see that in page 3. Senate debates 2022 appropriation bill. You can also find that in page 3. And then import duty verification deadline. Customs to impound 29 private jets. 62 orders. You can see that in page 2. And then Justice Harun, 9 other scholars, community leaders sit on Kwara Madrasa issue. You can see that also in page 2. And that will be all for News Direct.
And on to Daily Independent, at the top of the page we have gunmen invade APGA rally in Anambra. Obiano escapes unhurt. Can find that on page 29. Beside that, we have bandits attack Catholic seminary in Kaduna, abduct 3 children. You can find that on page 26 of Daily Independent. And at the middle of the page, we have Senate gets kudos over U-turn on e-transmission of results. You can find that on page 6 of the newspaper. And at the bottom of the newspaper, we have expert says Naira devaluation will push inflation to 25%. I did not advocate Naira devaluation, Osibajo says. Can find that on page 3. Rev'd creation of Southeast Division Commission. Can find that on page 4. Our reforms have stabilized banks, says CBN governors. For more details, you can find that on page 4. And that will be all for Daily Independent.
Okay, this Nigeria. Bandits demand 50 million for release of Kaduna Catholic Seminary students. You can see that on page 4. On the front page of the newspaper, report firms fleece 5 trillion naira extractive industry revenue. NEITI, NFIU strategize to tackle fraud. You can see that on page 4 of the newspaper. 2023 presidency. Why North is afraid of South? Shehu Sani says region scared shifts may lead to breakup. You can see that on page 4. Senate makes U-turn on electronic transmission of results. You can also see that on page 4. Ataga's mother, Chidinma arraigned, pleas not guilty. You can see that on page 13 of the newspaper. And that will be all for this Nigeria.
And moving on to Nigerian Pilot, right at the top of Nigerian Pilot paper, again, gunmen kidnap students of Kaduna Catholic Seminary. Can get the full details on page 10 of Nigerian Pilot. Oshibajo not calling for naira devaluation but increase in forex supply, says spokesperson. You can get the full details on page 6 of the Nigerian Pilot. And boldly written at the front page of the Nigerian Pilot, Senate backpedals, and the writer under that says approves electronic transmission of election results by INEC, empowers INEC to transmit election results electronically without any agency approval, deletes outrightly Clause 52, subsection 3. It passed in July that opposed electronic transmission. Another writer says, as Atiku, Wike, Ekweremadu commend NAS, INEC over decision. You can get all the details on page 8 of the Nigerian Pilot Papers. And right at the bottom, 40 air conditioners may stall reps debate on 2022 budget. The details is on page 5 of the Nigerian Pilot. As gunmen attack Abga rally in Anambra, kill many. That's on page 6 of the Nigerian Pilot. Yaradua's daughter forged documents to get Abuja land, says minister. You can get that on page 12 of Nigerian Pilot. And concerning Biafra, DSS release Chiwetalu Agu to Actor Guild of Nigeria. You can get that on page 13 of the Nigerian Pilot. And I guess the issue of Chiwetalu Agu, the Nollywood actor, it was all over the place. I think that was around late last week, over the weekend, about the Biafra attire he put on, and it was like he's the symbol of the rising sun and all that. But thank God he's been released to the Actors Guild of Nigeria. Then Governor Otom blames Nigeria's woes on President Buhari. You can get it on page 9. Senate probes budget office over 19 billion illegal payment to MDAs. That's on page 9. And at the bottom, we have Nigeria's trade costs too high for investment. No other person said this but Okonjo Iweala. You can get the full details on page 8 of the Nigerian Pilot.
Okay, moving on to New Telegraph newspaper. At the top of it, we have IMF raises Nigerians' growth forecast to 2.6%, and under it, we have board backs MD after data rigging claims review. You can find that on page 3 and page 25. To continue reading on it, CBN to find banks for BVN. Watch list infractions. You can find that on page 25. At the middle, we have Nadeco to federal government honor Ndubuisi Kanu with returns to 1960 and 1963 constitutions. You can find that on page 2. Defeat of Obasanjo's third term bid foiled creation of 6 Southeast states. You can find that also on page 2. FCT minister tells court ex-president Yaradua's daughter Zainab forged land document. That's on page 4. Lagos arraigned Chidinma, 2 others over Oshifo Ataga murder. That's on page 7. So we are still on this case. Senate bows to prayer, empower INEC to decide transmission mode, allows political parties to decide modalities for primaries, and Atiku Ekweremadu commend Senate. You can find out on page 2, page 4, and page 8. Custom issues 14-day final notice to private jet owners over import operational documents, and that's on page 3. 6 feared dead as gunmen soldiers clash at Abga rally, and reader said ZLP carpet Abga APC over insecurity. Police arrest Kaduna Catholic priest abductors, and that's on page 3 and page 6. Study mushroom consumptions may lower depression risks, and that's on page 26. And that's all on New Telegraph newspaper.
And then the Daily Sun, HIV/AIDS cases may skyrocket soon, warns federal government. That's on page 5 and page 26. NMA expresses worry over kidnapping of doctors. The bottom of the newspaper, e-transmission of election results. Senate surrenders. Remove condition, give INEC power to decide. OK's direct primaries for political parties. Atiku, Wike, others hail lawmakers. PDP, CUPP, faults direct primaries. You can see that in page 7. And the appointments of security chiefs should be representative. Bauchi governor, 2,287 killed in 3 months. Now you can see that in page 4 and in page 6. 2023, that'll be the 2023 elections. Olumakaiye flays Dr. Percy overstand against Southern presidency. You can see that in page 26. Why we can't fund 2022 budget, FIRS. Claims Nigerians hate paying taxes. You can see that in page 26. Government killed sergeant, sack police station in Bayelsa. Attack Catholic seminary in Kaduna. Adopt students. You can see that in page 4 and in page 5. The Naira untold story. Petrol imports. Subsidy drained on foreign reserve. You can see that in page 5. And that will be all for Daily Sun.
And on daily assets, at the top of the page, we have federal government strategized to boost foreign reserves with USS 150 billion. And boldly written on the page, we have finally, Senate approves electronic transmission of election results. Right under that, we have Nigeria needs 9 million jobs yearly to combat unemployment. You can find that on page 4. Under that, we have Landlong seeks partnerships with Britain to strengthen peace agencies. More details on page 5. Lai Mohammed tax media houses on fact-check decks. Can find that on page 8. Kwara court jails US lottery agent, 2 others for cybercrime. More details on page 6. Kano affirms commitment to end drug abuse and other vices. Can find that also on page 8. And under the page, we have court restrained news sacking Sudan from parading as emir of Katangora. For more details, you can find that on page 4. And that will be all for daily assets.
And on daily trust, insecurity, 62 private jet owners shun customs verification. You can see that on page 14. Abducted Kebbi student freed after over 100 days in captivity. You can see that on page 14. Boldly written on the front page, FG moves to award Intel's multi-billion naira boat service contract. 1,153 civilians, 176 security personnel killed in 3 months. That should be all on Daily Trust.
And moving on to these day papers, boldly written, with e-transmission, direct primaries, Senate gives power back to the people. Wow. Isuk. Okay, and the writer under that says, excitement over electronic transmission, many hail direct primaries as PDP kicks. Okay. Should continue. You can get that on page 48 of this day papers as Access Bank acquires 78.15% stake in Bank ABC Botswana. You can get that on page 6 of the this day papers. Then there's a picture there and the description says keeping the girl child in school. And yesterday was it yesterday or Monday? Monday was the International Girls Child Day. So I think we are still celebrating. When will we celebrate International Boys Child? Then at the top of this day papers, 19 months to go. Buhari urges ministers to pace up on goals. Wow, 19 months to go. Okay, and the writer under that says direct SGF to convene quarterly meetings to review government's priority areas. Then Okonje Weala says cost of Nigeria's trade too high to attract investment, and I think I agree with her. Like I really go with her because the cost of trade in Nigeria is something else, and investors won't be encouraged to come invest in Nigeria.
True.
Federal Inland Revenue Service generated 4.2 trillion naira via taxes in 9 months. NAMI said that. So we can get the analysis on page 5 of these day papers. I think that'll be all on these day papers.
Moving on to the Daily Times newspaper, boldly written, Nigeria's trade cost too high to attract investment, said by Okonjo-Iweala. Read on that, it said, canvasses cutting down of all costs associated with moving goods from factory to final consumer. You can continue reading that on page 2. At the top of the newspaper, we have Senate bows to pressure, resigned stance on electronic transmission of results. Read on that, it said, adopt direct primary election. PDP kicks, say direct primary retrogressive. Atiku hails NAS decision on e-transmission of poll results. You can continue on page 2. Under his, we have Buhari challenges ministers to redouble effort, promote performance culture in MDA. Can continue reading that. Page 3. Your false claims irritate Nigerians. Your false claims irritate Nigerians. PDP tells Buhari APC. And you can see that on page 4. Mixed reactions track CAC's declaration of NNPC share capital of 200 billion naira as highest in Nigeria. You can see that also in page 3. Government attack Catholic seminary in Kaduna, abduct students, and can continue to read that on page 3. That's all on the Daily Times newspaper.
And the last but not the least in the newspaper review, Nigerian Tribune, APC in make or break state congress. The likely hotbeds, Kano to test aspirants for drugs. Alao Akala talks tough, says anybody clamoring for party structure is wasting his time. You can see that in page 17, 24, and 26. Nigeria trade cost too high to attract investment. Okonjo-Iweala. Osibajo did not call for Naira devaluation presidency. You can see that in page 2. And for the trade cost, you can see that in page 6. And then North Central wants to produce president, not PDP chairman. Baraje, you can see that in page 2. What Obasanjo's chief of staff told me on phone after Senate killed third term. Namani. You can see that in page 26. Adebajo, Akimba, Williams, others call for rejuvenation of Nadeko. You can see that in page 28. And in the bottom of the newspaper, Senate bows to pressure, accepts electronic transmission of results. You can see that in page 5. Madrasa flogging, Kwara government sent up 10-member investigative committee. You can see that in page 24. 90 students of Beni Yauri regain freedom after 4 months. Wow. You can see that in page 25. The Southwest governors envision Amoteku becoming state police. Is that possible? We'll find out. Fayemi calls for short-term recruitment of NYSC members to increase security forces.
So it's NYSC now.
You can see that in page 28. Truckers lose 10 million naira to extortion daily as illegal checkpoints sprout at Lagos ports. You can see that in page 8. And that will be all for Nigeria Tribune. And that also will be all for Nago Radio Newspaper Review. Remember, you can follow us on Facebook at Lago Radio Nigeria, Twitter and Instagram at Lagoonradio.Ng, and you can watch our previous shows on YouTube at LagoonTV. Thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate. Thank you, my producer. I really appreciate. And that will be all for Lagoon Newspaper Review. It's a goodbye and have a lovely day.